Hello, welcome to the Tutors of Life podcast where we research life so you don't have to. Episode 343. This is your host, Shaun Tutor.
And this is Sam. And this is a Tutor episode where we try to teach you something new.
We are almost not sick.
Almost.
Just a little bit of the cold left.
Mm-hmm. And hopefully our flight does not make it worse. We'll see.
Hopefully not. We leave in a little bit.
Yeah.
Leaving a little bit. Oh, yeah. So this is Sunday. So we leave in a bit. Let me see here. What do you got?
What do you want to tutor about?
We got 25 minutes.
Okay.
So we'll go over what I discussed yesterday with Joe.
Okay.
Number one, standards. And the lack thereof.
It's so bad.
We discussed about how we don't understand how people's own personal values and integrity can be so low, and like how people are willing to live certain ways. Like they're willing to put their name on something even if it's not good.
Yeah.
So they don't pick up their house. They don't clean their house. So they don't have a it starts in the house, right?
Yeah.
So they automatically don't have a standard in their house. And then for him and I in particular, we both do construction. And that shit carries right over into work, into the job site. People not picking up after themselves, thinking that they got a fucking nanny coming up to clean after them, leaving their shit laying around everywhere, not sweeping, not vacuuming. And it's just some of those things where it's like, because what him and I discuss is like, that happened to you based on a lack of like your personal discipline.
Right.
So somewhere you decided to lack discipline, and there was enough negative reactions that you started slacking. Or you were programmed that way and taught that that's okay. So like one of two things, right? You either were taught it or you did it yourself, but your continued lack of discipline is why you're living that way.
I do think also you think you're above it. I don't know if would you put that with one of those two, but
I think you're entitled. I don't need to clean my house. I don't need to clean the job site. That's below me to clean up.
Yeah.
And
it's something that like Brooke and I don't know if that's how some of our contractors feel with stuff.
Sure.
But that's kind of like the attitude that they put off sometimes. And like, it's just like, well, Brooke and Sam should do this. Brooke and Sam should do that. And it's just like, yeah, like we get paid less, but our work is just as important as the work on the job site.
Right. Well, yeah, it's still all part of the same team moving forward. I would say it's less about the importance of work and more about just like doing the right thing.
Yeah.
So why would you leave a job disgusting and fucked up?
Yeah.
To then have a couple people come in and like clean it up and then go, oh, look at this. There's scratches here. There's ding marks here. There's, these issues here. Why not just every day clean up for 10 to 15 minutes? And then when it gets to the end of the job, you have cleaners going and it only takes a half day instead of 2 to 3 full days. And, or maybe it's a full day, but whatever, like it's way less time.
If you do it like throughout the process, all of it is so much easier and takes less time instead of like waiting at the end.
Right.
We've talked about it like with our big Strum project, like there was so many things that like they just left because they were like, oh, we'll do it later. Oh, we'll do it later. Oh, we'll do it later. Well, then it takes one full day to fill in all the holes.
Right.
And then you have to wait for the putty to dry so then you could paint it. And it's just like, if you would have just been doing this throughout,
Right.
it would have been so much easier.
Right. Or, the guys will leave fucking at noon or 2 o'clock on a day, and it's like, hey, you could have went around and filled all the holes for 20 to 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And then it's ready for touch-up paint the next day you want to leave at 2.
Yeah.
But this, so that actually leads me into the next point. So the first point, make it clear, is your lack of fucking discipline. Mm-hmm. You don't have it. And since you don't have any fucking discipline, your standards are shit. And when you don't got standards, you fall to a lower fucking standard, right? Mm-hmm. And so number one is a lack of discipline, which leads to a lack of standards. What you were just saying leads me into number 2.
Okay.
What were you saying?
Like about...
You were saying about...
leaving everything until the end?
Leaving everything, but then we were just talking about Strom, and if the people would have just done it and stayed a little stayed a little longer, they could have done it. Uh-huh. And...
could have left early the next day.
How'd I forget where I was going with that?
I don't know.
My brain's not working.
Yeah, what just happened?
I know, dude. Usually this don't happen.
Yeah, that thought went...
when it gone. All right, so anyways.
Was that point about standards, or was that point about...
So we're lacking discipline, which then leads into timeliness. What did I say we were going to talk about today?
Standards, why we don't have them.
Thinking about the person after you.
There we go.
Holy shit, there we go. Man, that's terrible. All right. I don't know if this... Joe and I talked about this a little bit yesterday. I think it's probably always been an issue. I just think it might be sped up a little bit. Mm-hmm. And I think it might be sped up because of like our distracted way of life, or a big one's the food we eat, because they do the studies with like the mice.
Yeah.
Where they take a normal mouse, put him in a pool, and he swims to... He finds safety in 5 seconds. Yeah. Then they feed him a North American diet, put him in the pool, and it takes him 35 seconds to find safety. The thing is so then they take him out, or it takes like a minute, whatever. They take him out, they put him back in, takes him like 35 seconds. Anyways, he cannot remember, the mouse can't remember where safety is because of the diet. It fucks up their brain. Mm-hmm. It gives them Alzheimer's, right? That's why Alzheimer's is the number 1 or the number 2 killer in the world, or in the U.S. right now, is because of our diet. Yeah. Lack of cholesterol and stuff. And so anyways, I believe it might have a mixture of both of those. I believe this has always happened, but I believe it's probably at a little bit higher rate now, because of distractions and diet. But not thinking about the person coming after you, or not thinking about the whole picture. Mm-hmm. Think about this with me for a second. The low, small side on like a construction site, or like your daily tasks. Say you get done at 2, or say you're done with your shit at 2, and you look and you go, oh damn, if I take 30 more minutes, I can get all these holes filled, which then the next day, if someone has an extra 30 minutes, they can paint all those holes. Mm-hmm. If I don't do that, it takes roughly like 4 to 6 hours for this putty to fill. So if I don't do that, and then we wait to do it on its own designated day, somebody may be able to paint it by the end of the day if it's the first thing we get on. So like that, not thinking about the scope of the project because you're too concerned, you're too selfish about your own self and getting out of there early today. You're too self-centered to think about how this could benefit the team, benefit the company, benefit yourself down the line. And instead, now you added another full day of fucking work onto a project because you were selfish. Mm-hmm. So that's the small level. The big level is we don't fucking think past ourselves.
No.
Okay? How many people, like, dude, how many people are actually thinking about the fucking life they're leaving their children or their grandchildren?
Not many.
So I'll tell you what, dude. If you were fucking thinking about that, if more people were actually thinking about their kids and grandchildren, we wouldn't have the fucking size of landfills we have.
Yeah.
We wouldn't manufacture and destroy cities to mine more.
Yeah.
We wouldn't continue to mass produce plastic. We just saw a stat. There is about half the amount of farms as there used to be, and they provide double the amount of food.
Yeah.
And you may think, oh, wow, efficiency. No. Well, yeah, efficiency for sure. But it's just mass producing based on hormones, fucking keeping shit in cages, and like just growing it to slaughter and then move on. Nothing's like good quality shit anymore.
No, and like crops have like pesticides on it, so like they don't get damaged as much.
Yep. So, and I just heard a thing on the radio. I listened to the 95.9 The Farm. Fucking liberal ass dude on there talking. Us farmers, we don't like tariffs. Tariffs are bad for us because we need our special herbicides for our corn and our wheat. And if we don't have our herbicides for our corn and our wheat, we will not be able to produce it, and we will be whatever the fuck, right? We'll as farmers, like, we'll be screwed, right? And it's like, okay, dude, here's the deal. Believe it or not, before herbicides, we knew how to make fucking corn and wheat. Why the fuck can we not do that anymore? What happened to you lazy fucking farmers that cannot come up with a fucking solution?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And they're like, oh, we gotta vote for Kamala because we don't like tariffs. Grow up, dumb fuck, and figure out how to fucking farm without the herbicides that you have to ship in from fucking China, dude. Mm-hmm. So anyways,
other countries do it.
All the other countries do it, dude. How are we the only country that can't do it?
I don't know.
We're just sold a fucking bag of lies, and everyone just believes it because they're not thinking about the next fucking generation or the generation after that. They're so goddamn self-centered about what's easy, what's cost-effective, and what's the fucking way they can sit around and play with their fucking dinghy on Pornhub instead of figuring out how to make the world a better fucking place for the next generations.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, have you heard of like the regenerative farms?
1,000%, many times.
Yeah. For those of you that don't know, they're just, what are we talking about? The
Making
next
shit
generation.
better, yeah.
Yep. Okay. So these regenerative farms, because if you just keep the same crop on the same field over and over and over again,
Yeah.
you take away all the nutrients of that land.
That's how the Dust Bowls happened.
Yep.
In Texas. I'm reading about it now. That book fucks my brain. Keep going.
So it's like really bad for like the earth actually to just keep planting the same thing over and over and over again, plus put all the pesticides and everything on top of it. So with regenerative farming, you actually like rotate around, like, I think, is it like where you have your cows graze?
Yeah. So
and where you farm the land.
Yep. So yeah, essentially you take out like a whole environment scope. So you have your pigs, you got your cows, you got your chickens, you got your crops, and you cycle every couple years. Every year you're cycling things so that your cows are grazing where you used to have your beans, you know, and then where you used to have your cows is where you're planting your beans now or whatever. Maybe that's just hay for a few years or whatever, right? And so yeah, you rotate everything around because then you're giving that land years of like relaxing, plus you get the animals to fertilize it naturally.
Yeah.
And so then when you come through and till it up and replant your beans in 5 years or whatever in that area, you're not destroying that land. That land has been replenished.
Yeah.
But the thing is a regenerative farm, you can't just be a crop farmer.
No, you have to have the animals.
Right. You have to have a full picture farm. Second, it's not as profitable.
Yeah.
Third, it's a way bigger cost up front, right?
Yeah.
And fourth, if you're not smart with it, you could lose crops, which could lose you a lot of money. And so, I mean, it's really this like 4 or 5 step thing that really takes a lot of work and prep on your side as the farmer to provide a lot better product that is going to be good for the environment instead of the quick and easy way.
Would it though be a little more cost effective because you're not having to like manually put in those nutrients into the ground? Because you obviously need the nutrients for the crops to grow well.
So I listened to a dude, and he said it took about 10 years. I think he said it took about 10 years to transfer everything over. And by the time, and so it was essentially 10 years of like losing money. Then when he got to like that 10-year mark, it actually turned and the profit margin was better.
Yeah.
Now, he didn't make as much money, okay? And this is something a lot of people don't understand. There's a big, big difference between your profit margin and your profit or your income, right? So like you can have a massive profit because you have massive income and shit profit margin. You can have a business that has less income and less profit, but your margin is 35% instead of 10%, right? Yeah. And so essentially what the guy said is there's not as much income, there's not as much profit, but the profit margin is actually better come your like 10-year mark.
Yeah.
But why is that a good thing, right? That dude has kids. So why that guy did that, this guy talked on Joe Rogan's podcast a couple years ago and then recently did it again. I can't think of his name exactly offhand. But anyways, he's got kids and he's got grandkids. And he was looking at his land and he's like, this might make it through my kids, but this land is not making it to my grandkids if I don't make a change. So the guy decided that, hey, talked with his wife, talked with his kids, talked to a bunch of farmers. I'm going to make this change. We're going to do this. And then our farm will be able to go on forever. Farms right next door, this farmer talked about, farms next door, their like river, their like creeks going through their land is like yellow, orange, like just bad, right? Disgusting. His river and creek that goes through his property and his land, clear, beautiful. You can drink out of his right next door. You'll die if you drink out of it.
Damn.
I mean, that's the difference, right? But the problem is, dude, this is the big problem. We were talking about plastics today on RW. We don't think about the consequences, dude. We're concerned about this is why I think the green narrative and the green movement is fake. It's just bullshit. It's just a fucking...
It's a ploy.
A political thing that like people run on, which isn't true. Dude, if we really cared about the environment, we would not allow pesticides, herbicides. We would not allow regular farming. Dude, this is all already, minus the pesticides and herbicides, dude, we've already done this in 1920. We've already fucked up the lands. We already over-tilled, over-fucking produced, and improperly farmed. Like, this is in history less than 100 years ago that this happened. I don't understand. It's why the world goes in 80-year cycles, dude. I want to think people are smart, but I think they're all fucking retarded, dude.
Oh, they are.
Because I'm like, this happened 90 years ago. Just pick up a fucking book. Pick up a book, dude. So this is why I don't think the green narrative is real. If the green narrative was fucking real and we actually cared about the environment and we cared about the generations to come, we would fix farming first.
Yeah.
Farming would be the first to fucking fix. Then we would get rid of, or we would drop down plastic manufacturing massively and make it so where you got to recycle and we have to start using other options.
Yeah.
We would, instead of worrying about fucking solar and shit, we just pipe into natural gas lines. Dude, there's literally just natural gas fucking wells all over Virginia and West Virginia. We would just pipe into that, run pipelines, and just get fucking natural gas that's coming out of the earth regardless, guys. It's fucking leaking out of the earth. Why not capture it and use it? And just find better, cleaner ways. Anyways, what I'm getting at here is, if we actually cared about this shit, we would make some serious changes. We wouldn't allow all the fucking oils in our foods.
Yeah.
We wouldn't allow the pesticides, herbicides, and bullshit. We wouldn't allow the fluorides in the water. But the FDA fucks us. We're all too fucking distracted by social media and our cell phones and by eating a shitty North American diet that your fucking brain isn't operating at the potential it should be. And so we don't pick up a goddamn book and read about history 90 years ago. And so here we go, destroying the fucking world, destroying the people. So the next generation's fat, lazy, out of shape, and fucking like actually lower IQ. IQ's dropping. So anyways, we lack fucking discipline.
Yeah.
And because we lack fucking discipline and we lack looking into anything or having any standards and values, no one's standing, I shouldn't say no one, a lot less people are living by God and family first, right? So God, then family, then community, right? We don't live by that shit anymore. We don't have any fucking standards. And so because we don't have standards, we're not prepping for shit coming down the line for the next generations. We're so self-centered and concerned about our daily fucking life, how to make an extra fucking buck so we can sit around and do whatever the fuck we want, or we could buy the new pickup truck for 50, 60 fucking grand.
Yeah.
Instead of doing something productive for the world. That's what I got. What do you got?
Recently there's like a huge petition and strike outside Kellogg's.
Good.
Because people are demanding them to, because they make the cereal that they ship to Canada and Europe in the U.S.
Yeah.
Which doesn't have all the dyes and garbage and shit in it.
Right.
And so, yeah, people are starting to demand for them to make the U.S.'s products like they do the other countries.
That's how it fucking should be. Mm-hmm. Good.
So yeah, I mean, we'll see how that goes. But the other thing is like, you have to have the discipline to not buy those things.
That's the most wild shit to me in the world, dude.
Like how many things do like people preach about that we've seen, but they still like buy it, or they buy something similar. Yeah. And it's just like, not to judge Andy Frisella, but like that's one of the things that like Shaun and I have talked about is like his like men's supplement had red dye 40 in it.
Yeah, I quit taking his multivitamin because it had red dye 40. I'm like, dog.
Like you preach about like not
having high standards.
Yeah.
And you're putting fucking poison in your shit, dude.
Yeah.
There's a multiple of his supplements, and he's got an all natural line, so we get more of that shit now. I'm gonna order some of that. I was using his regular stuff, but we're gonna move to the all natural line because it doesn't have that shit in it.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, we're looking at the supplements because we're pretty strict on what we consume. Aside from every now and again when I eat a Reese's peanut butter cup, because dude, how do you not? It's just I don't like that shit. I don't like the bad stuff in like health products.
Yeah.
And so much of it is. I mean, there's only a couple protein brands I will consume.
Yeah. I mean, Shaun and I really stopped consuming a lot of like protein powders.
Yeah.
Just because so many of them have just garbage in it.
Bro, I tell you what, dude, you'll learn a lot. You clean up your diet and you do a lot of shit. And I talk to my friends and stuff and I say like I got a shitty diet, which I'm lackluster on my diet a little bit right now, but I'm still cleaner than 99% of the world. But when I say this shit, dude, like you clean up your diet to where you're eating like if you watch Stan Efferding, if you ever hear the vertical diet, so pretty much we have basmati rice, red meat that's sourced from local farms, so grass-fed, grain-finished, which, yes, I understand you grass-fed guys out there, I get it. Chickens from local farms so that they don't have the hormones and shit. Organic pork, same thing with our bacon and shit. So all that, dude, like, and we get almost everything we get is farm fresh eggs. And that's our main diet. That makes up 80% of our diet. And then we'll add in some shit like we get organic peanut butter from a farm up in Ashland.
From a Mennonite farm.
From a Mennonite farm, yep. And so there's some stuff that we like add in and stuff, but for the most part, it's pretty clean. We eat organic sourdough bread, we eat butter, all that shit. What I'm saying is, dude, you go down and you cut your shit down to like natural, good.
Bare bones.
Bare bones, dude. We do have some fruit. We'll have like organic blueberries. We'll get like pick our blueberries, raspberries, some strawberries, and some bananas and stuff, and some apples. So that's about it, right? But it's all always organic or like picked, right? And go drink a regular protein shake off the shelf. See what you're fucking gutting. Dude, I get like a headache.
Yeah.
I get like a headache. My gut's all fucked up. It ain't good, dude.
No.
And so that's what I started noticing with this shit. And there's only like, I think I've tried 2 proteins that didn't do that after I got clean. And so you'll learn a lot of shit, dude. There's not the pre-workout. The only thing we do is amino energy now. Yep. And that's even like, that could be a lot cleaner. And then creatine. But, and dude, First Form's got great products. We use a good amount of First Form products.
Yeah.
But there's some things that where the standards of that could get significantly better and make me buy more.
Yeah, it's just like it just is so interesting. I mean, I know we've gone down like the rabbit hole, and that's why we know so much of that. But for someone to like preach so much about like how fucked up our country is,
right?
And then to have red dye for it, and it might be like something that like just like an afterthought, like they never even thought about that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because I'm sure we could email them, and then like it'd be interesting to see if they change it.
Yeah, I could see it. The change would probably be made. But so to go back right on your point of the people have to like it just blows my mind. Like, when was the last time we bought like shit? Like, when was the last time we bought cereal?
Yeah, the only time we have cereal is like if we're at a hotel.
Yeah, so 4 years, 5 years.
That we bought it?
Yeah, when did we buy cereal last? 5 years ago? 6 years ago?
Probably, 6 years ago.
I mean, when was the last time we bought a box of noodles?
Pasta? Probably 4 or 5 years ago. We did try some gluten-free noodles.
Yeah, okay. When was the last time we bought regular noodles?
Oh, yeah.
4 or 5 years ago, probably? Yeah. We ate a box of fucking cheddar shells that expired in 2021.
And they tasted the same.
The same. So that just goes to show, like, if that was our last noodle thing we had. So anyways, it's just there's a lot of things like that, right? Like, we don't buy the shit anymore. We don't buy, peanut butter on the shelf.
People look at our pantry and kind of chuckle at us.
We don't buy this shit, dude.
No. We have a shelf for baking, if we ever bake, which is once every other month, I think.
Yeah.
And then we have a shelf for appliances because we had space.
Yep.
And then the other stuff is like just pretty much extras of anything.
Just random shit.
Yeah. We've gotten a couple more snacks just because of me.
Oh, dude, hold on. I will admit, we do support Bush's baked beans.
Yeah.
We eat those about once a month.
Yeah.
And I fucking like those things.
Yeah.
They might not be good, dude. But when you're having we get brats from Pinter's. When we're having some brats, dude, sometimes you just want a thing of baked beans.
Dude, I've been loving...
Sam's a little slut for baked beans.
I was craving them for so long, and then I told you guys I'm in a speed puzzling thing, so we've been having baked beans every Wednesday for the past 4 weeks. It's been heavenly. God dang.
But anyways, yeah, so everything that comes down to is, dude, you have to note it. You cannot make a change until you want to make a change. Mm-hmm. So first you have to notice there's something wrong. Mm-hmm. Then you have to become disciplined to not continue supporting those places. And then what happens? They go out of fucking business.
Yeah.
Or they change because they're like, oh, hey, we better listen to the customers because we're losing money.
Yeah.
But the fat dome motherfuckers you see walking around Woodman's with an IQ of fucking 85, I'm telling you right now, they're not going to stop buying their fucking
Lucky Charms
and Little Debbie's anytime fucking soon, dude.
Yeah.
Those fucking 350, 400 pound mumbo jumbos, dude, ain't fucking stopping.
Yeah.
And so that's what I got.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Definitely think about, like, for all of you that have kids, like, think about some of the choices you're making now in your life, like what you're doing career wise, retirement wise, anything, because you have to think eventually you're going to be in your 70s and 80s, 90s, and you may have to go to a nursing home.
Right.
So how are you going to pay for that? How are your kids going to pay for that? Try to make things as, like, easy as you can for them as possible. We know people that have already paid for their funeral.
Right.
And, like, picked everything out because they don't want to have their kids worry about that.
Right.
So just, like, any, like, choice, like, think further into the future. There's so many people that we know only think about now or the next day, maybe next week. But they're not thinking about what choices they're making now that's going to affect their kids in a month, 2 months, 3 years. So just make sure you're really thinking and, like, doing your research on a lot of stuff. We've, especially since I got pregnant, like, we've been really, I think, being more careful of, like, what I've been eating. Just because what I eat could affect
Right.
how our baby comes out.
Right.
So it's just being more mindful of, like, what your actions will do for your kids' futures. And by doing that, I mean, it's so much easier to hold a high standard too, a higher standard.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what we got.
Sick. All right, gang. Thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you on the next one.
See ya.